Welcome to my channel and welcome to day 19 of my 25 Days of Craftmas series. Today I'm showing you how to make this wood-burned Christmas cutting board. I love doing wood burning projects because they are original and unique. I think this one turned out super cool and I'm excited to show you how to make your own. Now let's go take a look at the supply list and get started. For this project you'll need a cutting board, torch paste, a squeegee, adhesive vinyl and the color doesn't matter, transfer tape, a weeding tool and scraper, a high heat gun at least 1,000 watts or above, Christmas embellishments, a Christmas cookie cutter, a hot glue gun and glue, and of course your Cricut, a cutting mat, and the cut file. So grab your supplies and head over to your computer. The first thing we need to do is grab the SVG file we'll be using for this project. You can get it for free on my blog at burtonavenue.com. I keep all the SVG files for the projects I make and share in my free SVG library. These files will work with all kinds of cutting machines and they're free to everyone. Once you're on my site, just go to Free SVG Files and then Free SVG Library. You will need a password to get into the library and there are instructions on the screen if you need to get one. For this project, we're going to be using the cut file called Fashioned Gingerbread Bakery BA2119. To find it, just use your browser search and enter 2119. Once you found the file, go ahead and click on that link, and the files will be downloaded onto your computer. Now I'm going to show you how to set up and cut this design in Cricut Design Space. If you're not sure how to unzip and import designs into Cricut Design Space, be sure to check out my step-by-step tutorial. So this is what the design will look like when you first import it onto your Canvas screen. So now we need to resize it so that it will work with our project. To do that, I'm going to create a rectangle that is close to the same size as my cutting board, and then resize my design so it will fit on that rectangle. So I'm going to go over to Shapes, and then I'm going to choose Square, and then I'm going to go up here and unlock the padlock and put in the dimensions of my cutting board. And mine measures about 6 3/4 inches by 11 inches. Once you've got the size in, you'll want to click on Arrange and choose Send to Back. And then I'm also going to change the color of that rectangle to white, just to make the design a little bit more visible. I'm also going to go down here and click on the minus sign so I can see everything a little bit better. And so now you can just drag on these arrows and resize the design until it looks good inside of that rectangle. So the size of my design is about 6 inches and I think that looks good. Now when I stencil this design on the cutting board, I actually want it to be at the bottom of the cutting board because I'm going to be adding some Christmas embellishments up here at the top and I don't want those to cover my words. So when it's down there, we have all this extra space. So I'm just going to change the size of that rectangle so it's a little bit bigger than my design. And then I'm going to select both that rectangle and the design and go up to Align and choose Center. The last thing we need to do is right click and choose Attach. And that will just lock all of those pieces into that rectangle and it will change this design into a stencil. So when we cut out the design, we're going to peel out these letters and that will leave us with the negative space and create a stencil. And so that is all that we have to do on this screen. So now we can click on the green Make It button. And then you'll be taken to this screen. And this is just going to show us what our design will look like on our cutting mat. If everything looks good here, you can click on the green Continue button. Once Design Space finds your Cricut, you'll be taken to this screen. Make sure your dial is set to vinyl, and then you can go load your cutting mat. So you're going to place the vinyl on your cutting mat and smooth it down. Load it into your Cricut by pressing the up and down arrow button. When your Cricut is ready to cut, you'll see the C button light up. Press that, and the machine will begin cutting. When everything has been cut, you can press the up and down arrow button again to unload your mat. Remove your vinyl from your cutting mat and trim away any unused portion of the vinyl. Then weed away the excess vinyl. Since this is a stencil, we'll be pulling out the letters and shapes from inside of the rectangle. Cut a piece of transfer tape and place it sticky side up on your work surface. Then place the vinyl on top of that and smooth it down. Rub firmly over the design with your scraper and then trim off the excess transfer tape and vinyl backing. Next, you're going to flip the design over and carefully remove the vinyl backing. Center the design from left to right on your cutting board. Use the straight edge of the stencil and line it up with the straight edge of the cutting board. Rub over the design a few more times to help it stick to the board. And then you can carefully pull off the transfer tape. Next, you're going to apply a thin layer of torch paste over the stencil. To do this, I cut off the edge of an old gift card, scooped up some of the paste, and pushed it onto the cutting board. After the entire stencil was covered, I used the long edge of the gift card to scrape off the excess torch paste and even it out over the design. Let the torch paste dry for several minutes, then carefully pull off the vinyl stencil. Use your weeding tool to pull off any vinyl pieces that were left behind. You should still be able to see the design when the torch paste has dried. Next, use a high heat gun to burn the design into the cutting board. This process did take quite a while, but it's so much fun to watch the design appear. The cutting board I used is made of several pieces of wood that are glued together. The heat of the gun did cause two of the strips to separate a bit, but I think it adds to the rustic look of the design. I also heated above the design on one of the strips to even out the change in color from the heat. When you're happy with the look, you can use a paper towel to wipe off any residue. When torch paste is used on a surface that will be in contact with food items, it's recommended that the surface be sealed with a food-grade sealer after applying and burning the torch paste. To finish off the cutting board, tie a Christmas cookie cutter to a Christmas pick and glue it to the top of your cutting board. And that's all there is to it. Your wood burn cutting board is finished. If you enjoyed this video and want to see more like it, be sure to subscribe to my channel and click on the notification bell so you'll get notified each time I post something new.